Hi there. Bought me a new 18 gun cabinet a week or so ago because I completely ran out of room. I had a bunch of long guns stored in these cases. A couple of them over there. They were not secure. So, let's see what's inside. Oh, look at this. Here we have a 300 blackout pistol. This is the only one in my collection that I did not build myself. It was a 2-pin build. A friend of mine put together. He decided he didn't want it anymore, so I got it from him. Let's see. Little updates. Updates. This, of course, is the 601. Finally got some of the waffle mags. They're pretty cool. I have another one somewhere here. Oh, hang on. Here we go. These were made for Brownells by Nodak Spud. At least that's what their literature says. You can barely see the markings on the foreplate. It says Brownells caliber 223, which is what the original rifles were designated as, 223. And the only thing not correct on this build here is this barrel has a 1-in-7 twist. The original came with a 1-in-14, which is impossible to get now unless you'll be raked over the coals by somebody who's got one used. And I'll just wait. Next in line, in my collection that is, historically, would be the M16, or in this case AR-15 A1. Got the teardrop charging handles. If I put these side to side here, ooh, visual differences. Of course, you have a full fence. This was the first AR or M16 with the full fence. The 601 had zero fence, none at all. This pen actually comes all the way out. No forward assist, and even the bolt does not have the serrations on it. It's a, well, let's see if I can pop this port door open. There we go. Notice that is a hard chrome, and it's slick all the way down. The starting with the model prior to this, actually had the same upper, had a partial fence, so this was missing. All it had was the boss for the pivot pin. And like I said, it was identical to this upper receiver because it had the teardrop charging handle. Same sight wheel as or same size looking as the 601. The 601 sight wheel, windage wheel, does not have numbers stamped in it, whereas the XM16E1s and the A1s did have numbers stamped in the windage wheel. You'll see these horizontal lines only on the magazine release button. The Colt 602, which was the immediate successor to this, came with the what we see today, still the concentric circles. Those are just minor visual differences. You'll see that the 601 hardware has dimples. That was part of the machining process way back when. Couple more minor changes. See here, this bolt catch, it slopes down. There's nothing poking out, protruding, versus the more modern day bolt catch. Once again, the little dimples, you'll see those, including the pivot pin. I mentioned the 223 caliber and designation. Here is a Colt magazine marked caliber 223. These are not super rare, but you do not see them very often. Simple 20 round mag. This is a 1 in 12 twist barrel. F mark. Actually, this front sight base, I don't know who made it, but it is actually not F marked because I don't see anything on the casting. This particular barrel, when I got it, was not finished. It was a 4140 chromoly, and the gunsmith had to turn this journal down to fit the front sight base. Then he drilled and pinned and parkerized in the barrel so it would look good. He had it for about 2 months. When I got it, boy, was I happy. So that's what an A1 looks like. I'll compare it to an A2. Of course, this does not have black furniture. No big deal. Still using I like using the 20 round mags, personally. You'll notice all the controls would be the same as what you would find in an A1. An actual A2 would have a burst fire, 3 round burst fire, whereas the A1 and the 601 were select fire, commonly known as full automatic. The A2 did not have fully automatic. It was a 3 round burst only. And of course, the rear sights are quite different. The windage wheel is still there, but it's you don't need a tool to turn it. You just use your fingers. Sight these in at first to what's called a battle 0, and then the only time that's the only time you will actually adjust the front sight post. Front sight post on an A2 is square. The A1 is not square, it's round. And of course, the 602 would also be round. And also, there are 4 detent spots versus 5 detent spots. And there's a simple tool. Oh, got a bag of them here. This one got a nice little knurled spot in the middle. There's your, on that end would be for your A2 sight posts, and the opposite end would be for your A1 style. And if you don't want to put a brass or copper marks all over your windage wheel, there is a tool, and the mark would be from the bullet tip, full metal jacket bullet tip. You can use this tool right here. It just slips down, pushes the detent in, and you can turn it as much as you want instead of just one click at a time. And this actually has an A2 adjuster, which is kind of funny. Front sight post for an A2 versus windage wheel, which you like this you won't find on an A2. So here's another one of the flip-flop front sight tools. This one doesn't have the raised portion. All three of these implements will take an M7 bayonet. This one here, I believe, is, oh, I forget the company. It says BOC, Bauer Ordnance Company. It's a Bauer. The blade on this is dull. There was no reason to sharpen them because a dull blade does more damage than a sharp blade. That's a Bauer. And then I recently picked up another M7. This one actually is sharper. I wouldn't say it's sharp, but it's sharper. And this one is an Imperial. There were some that were actually marked Colt. I don't recall who manufactured the bayonets that were marked Colt. But this one and the Bauer, or the BOC, they look identical. If you had cracked grips or something needed to be replaced, the parts would be interchangeable. Got a couple cleaning kits that would go inside the buttstock for the A2 and the A1. In this case, it's a folding bipod, and it would clamp right there on the barrel. Right there. Just like that. Very simple. Doesn't weigh hardly anything. This is steel, it's not aluminum. So you'll see some funkies on it. This is Parkerized, which helps. Actually, I could lube it up and put some oil on it. It'd make it a little bit glossy for a while, but eventually it'd dry up, soak right into the parkerizing. It's one of the special features, or nice features about Parkerized. And then the last one I'm going to show of this nice little collection is the M4 carbine. Uses the same flash suppressor as the A2. The bayonet that would fit on this is a different configuration because a standard M7 would be too short. The ring that fits around the flash suppressor would probably fit somewhere around here. So the handle on the bayonet that would go with this firearm is longer, and it does look different. Very different. This is a Maytech flip-up rear sight. You could either go with this configuration, and here's your elevation. This is pretty simple. Raises and lowers, just enough to get the job done. And yes, it does move. It's slight, but you don't want any real gross movements. It does have a windage knob. It's set on 0 for the time being. I just put this sight on within the last hour before I made the video. Once again, the same lower parts as you would find on I wonder why that's not sitting where it should be. It works though. Notice this one says burst. If this was a true M4, of course it's marked this way, but it is not. You notice that the other hole with the pan, it makes this ineffective. This is just cosmetic, but that would say full or auto. Auto, I believe, is what it should say, not burst. Burst would be what you would find on this model, and this one's actually says burst. It won't burst, not that one, but at least that's correct. This is just, it's cosmetic. A true M4 would have a 14.5-inch barrel. This is a 16-inch barrel because I don't want to pay the ransom price for a tax stamp for a short barrel rifle. And yes, my end plate is staked. Ooh, there you go. It's staked in 2 places because the third one is not reachable, and there's no way to get a proper stake on it because that would be underneath here. Rifle buttstocks do not have an end plate, therefore they don't get staked. The buffer tube or extension, the receiver extension, is actually what the tube is. It gets torqued to 40 inch-pounds. So that's a little update. I did replace the gray ring was on here with the black one. The black one that I had at the time was shiny. Mil spec says it will be a non-glare. Non-glare. Well, it glares. So I had to order up the right spec. And there you go. Thanks for watching. Hope you're entertained and maybe learned a little bit of something. Oh, and yes, I do have plenty of the 30 rounds. I actually like the gray, XM gray. If they were steel, it would be Parkerized. I do like them. I have some black ones. I have black ones. I've got some red ones. I've got some gold ones. Anyways, yeah, this here has 7 20-round mags in it. And now it has 8. I'll put that waffle mag in there. And some of these, I showed you the Colt 223. This is another Colt, but this one is marked caliber 5.56 millimeter. So this would be a newer one than I showed you previously. These are not Colt. These were purchased through Brownells. I don't know who made them. Colt magazines are actually made by OK Industries. There's another Colt. You see the marking, 5.56 millimeter. Nothing special about Colt mags unless if you buy OK mags, guess what? Same thing. If you don't believe me, look it up. OK Industries was the manufacturer of Colt OEM mags. And all these section containers here are either armor tools or AR parts. Parts and tools. Parts and tools. I finally got to a point where I had to keep things more separated. Bought a bunch of these plain old boxes. There's some taps. Look at that. Selector, pistol grip screws, magazine catch, buffer tube detent, buffer tube extension for an A2. There's the long screw for the A2, the shorter screws for the A1 and older, a springs for forward assist, there goes end plates and castle nuts, a couple of trigger guards, takedown and pivot pins with springs and detents, port door covers, bolt catches, and these are bolt carrier parts. There's extractors, some gas rings, a cam pin, yeah, a few other things. Extractor springs. There's a trigger springs, hammer springs, couple hammers, couple triggers, disconnector springs, pins for your fire control group. They help to keep things separate because then you get an easier inventory. Locate. Down here, there's some delta ring assemblies. And delta rings. This here is some miscellaneous roll pins, but they're all separated in bags. Lots of stuff over there. Lots of stuff. Well, I'm just kind of rambling now. Enjoy your day. Thanks for watching. Bye.